Check out this dope shit, man.
Pay is never down, we getting paid. Another day, another dollar living in the bay. Hustling for my baby, trying to plan my escape. I ain't staying in the matrix where they trying to get my papers. Pay is never down, we getting paid. Another day, another dollar living in the bay. Hustling for my baby, trying to plan my escape. I ain't staying in the matrix where they trying to get my papers.
Howdy, this is Garma. I'm going ahead and be casting for this returning CIL game. Unfortunately, it was actually interrupted due to the recent update that we had with Camphor getting added, but we are looking to return to, believe it is ExWar versus Globos. I'm joined here tonight with Xander. Xander, go ahead and say hi.
Hello, everyone. I am Xander the Lion. I will be casting with Garma.
And well, we definitely look forward to seeing this match. Unfortunately, I was not able to catch the last time ExWar and Globos had ended up fighting. I don't know if Xander, if you by chance saw that, but from what I did hear, it was actually a 1-1 and went on to the last map being R&D.
No, so it was 3 maps. It was first with what was it? I came. Not thermal plant. Thermal or LunarCom. ExWar took 1 point at LunarCom, and then the second map was supposed to be R&D, and that's when all hell broke loose. Because what happened was that the servers were slowly going offline because of maintenance. Someone disconnected, and because the servers were going into maintenance, someone wasn't allowed to rejoin. So the entire map had to be restarted. And right at the end of the restart, in overtime, the servers were taken offline. So from what I understand, they're just gonna replay the entire R&D match.
Interesting.
And since Extended Warranty won LunarCom, if they win here at R&D, there won't be any third map. It'll be a short game today. But if Globos wins R&D, they will be going. The tiebreak will be going to Ministry, if I remember correctly.
Hi, production here. Yeah, I believe so, and the teams can correct me as we go on. I guess there's a little bit of a delay with my mic right now. Not entirely sure what's going on there, but yeah.
Anyways, you're also joined in the call by Tony. Tony, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey guys, One Trick Tony here. No, my cat's throwing up right now. 1 second, I'm sorry.
We have some technical difficulties on the side of Tony.
Is that really a technical difficulty?
It could be depending on how you look at it. You clearly wouldn't want your cat throwing up on your PC or anywhere near it.
Oh no, I should know. I had to take precautions in my office because my newest kitten decided to start climbing through computers, and that was a scary thing for many reasons.
Well, as we go ahead and currently look into or await Tony to return, we're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and take a look at these standings here. Not sure if this is entirely an updated one. I'm currently looking at a different one. It might be a different one on stream. Wizards of Oz currently leading the standing 10-2, 10 wins, 2 losses, with Globos Blancos, another contender we will see tonight, following close second. And then following them is going to be Skill Issue Portland, tied for 7-5, and then For Fun Extended, followed by Pancakes, and then GSS, which has unfortunately left the league. They were a team I was actually really interested in seeing grow from my first time casting, but unfortunately they are no longer around, which does sadden me a little bit. However, that being said, the two teams tonight have shown quite a bit of improvement, even then starting from week 1, when this league first opened up, especially with Globos Blancos. I do remember taking off actually a win from Rizzards. Fortunately, I was not there for that game, so I am not able to tell how it went or what Rizzards did wrong. That being said, they are a very formidable team. I do look forward to see what Globos pulls out, and extended warranty as well, having some recent changes and updates with their roster, and obtaining some new players. So I'm curious to see how both teams play with some of the roster changes and Globos having also some very strong players. As we also see, suit bands are now coming out. Unless there's just old PNGs. Marasai.
Yeah, so
okay, so there's the old bands from the last match then.
Yeah, so one thing that you're probably not there for, they had already done the unit bans for this map. So yes, as you can see on the screen, it's still Marasai banned by, I believe, Globos, and I believe XN Warranty banned Zeta. I could be wrong. Yeah, I'm seeing the names now, yeah. Also, because this entire match was originally scheduled and started before the patch, Camphor has, teams have agreed that for R&D and in the case that goes to the Ministry for Ministry, that Camphor is actually just banned.
Interesting. Was that done as a gentleman's agreement, or just no one can even? Okay.
Yeah, the gentleman's agreement, especially to my understanding for the R&D game, since everything was picked before Camphor was even a possible choice. So unless I'm mistaken, Camphor will we will not see Camphor at all tonight as part of that gentleman's agreement. For obvious reasons, all of the suit changes that came with the same patch we can't really change that. But Camphor should not be seen tonight.
It's an interesting set of gentlemen's agreements, honestly. I'm all for it. If both teams have agreed to it, then why not? No Camphor today. We're gonna keep things a little old school. We're gonna see how their comp has either stayed the same or changed despite this patch. And again, no suit on the table still, just because agreement. What are the bans gonna be? Is it the same? Did I miss out on that part? I'm sorry. I was a little.
The same.
Yeah, to my knowledge, it's the same. So it's still Marasai and Zeta that will be banned.
Okay. So, I mean, in a matter of sense, this is the first time we've seen technically 3 bans on the table. Aside from like when Susan came out and we weren't sure. Hold up is? I can.
I would have
just
to look
informed by Prod that we will have a member of one of our awesome casters to actually double check the map. Check to specifically do check which side of who had attack called Ministry for our upcoming map here. Now I'm actually really curious. I'm really curious as for, since obviously units got changed and all, if we might see Susan and Dom possibly be getting more used now in regards to the a whole change to armor. Over to what either team, if they had a comp lined up. Or maybe we might see Ash more considering they got a health buff.
Yeah, me personally, I love that Ash health buff. That was my biggest problem with the Ash changes back in, I think, like April, where Ash got some reasonable nerfs because all of the changes to the what we refer to as the Molly and the ultimate was just way too powerful and it's just way too strong, where you could most good players could just easily get upwards of 4 team maneuvers a match, or a round actually. But I never really liked the HP nerf, so I was really glad when that extra 100 HP came back.
Real quick, just be sure to send them the lobby code. They're looking for a lobby to join real quick. Be right back. I gotta ask the other team. Okay.
Yeah, lobby code's there. Now, I do know that both teams do have some pretty good Ashamars. I don't remember if Extended Warranty has someone that plays Susan. And I believe both teams do have Dom players, so we could see both Ash, at least Ash and Dom for both teams.
So on the side of ExWar roster, looking at Ash players, I do see Zombie. I think I've seen occasionally Price also play Ash, but I might be wrong. On the side of Globos, oh, it looks like it is an outdated roster, unfortunately.
Oh, is it?
in our roster's list, which is a little bit disappointing.
So going off of the Globos match from last night, both Arbalest and Touch both played Ashamar. So either one
yeah,
of them.
I definitely remember
possibly
Arbalest.
played tonight.
I've definitely seen Arbalest play Ash. I've seen Jake as well play Ash.
Okay, I don't think I've personally seen Jake play Ash, but I would believe it. Jake is a very good aimer. And while you don't have to be the best aimer on Ash, it is definitely a plus since the 3-round burst is a little awkward.
Well, even then, the 3-round burst honestly isn't bad. You know, if you're much more into like doing target switching, or if you're very aim focused, it is definitely one of the easier characters to play, as well as has great mobility and just great damage in CC with the Molly. And then the
definitely.
ult is very well appreciated, being able to grant stun, knockback, and can get someone out of their ult. Of course, though, it is a little bit janky in how the armor reduction works, or damage reduction from the front.
Like I personally tested that, and I've only seen it work in practice mode. Just me personally.
It's worked in consistently for me.
I'm just under the assumption from all Ashamar plays that thing never works. It never does. It might. It is again. It sounds like a very inconsistent hitbox, but you know.
Yeah.
Hey.
I don't. It's one of the weird things where the Dom one works all the time, but the Ash one, it's like you flip a coin, and while the coin's in the air, you're down.
Well, I mean, the simple fix is to code it to work like a Dom ult, or you know, just remove it. The fact that it blocks damage from the tooltips, either or, you know.
Yeah.
Just make it consistent.
Yeah, that I would definitely agree with that. If the intention was to make it there, and then they decided to remove it, but the text wasn't changed, that the text should definitely be changed.
Lich, go ahead and check your DMs if you haven't already. And then, yeah. For ministry, for our, yeah. Okay, I'll be right back.
So as I'm trying to go back actually and find that game which ExWar Globos played, unfortunately on our end, I'm
Isn't our
past 7 days.
domination
it was
map?
out a week ago for Ministry.
I don't think it matters who attacks first.
I mean, it's ministry. I mean, for R&D, no, it doesn't. The question was for ministry.
Yeah, no, ministry they attack first. R&D, you know, hey, they might be defenders first. Who knows? But we'll sort it out.
I hate defending first on R&D. It's such a pain.
You and me both.
Okay. I'm more attacker sided on that. I feel like defending's a bit easier.
We got a little attacker pilled Ash main here on the Mountain R&D stance. Okay, well, you know, nice to know where you stand. Was that a war?
It's my favorite map after all.
Dude, holy!
I love
Love that map.
R&D as Ash. It's my favorite domination map. I'm personally was never a fan of thermal. I'm still not. I prefer playing thermal in a competitive setting than LunarCom. LunarCom is such a pain in a competitive setting, even though I like the map better.
I don't see the appeal to anyone who isn't a Z2R fan for thermal plant, because as a Z2R fan, the thing is like, it's like I'm a tech deck, just you know, just flying through the map, just jumping off these little ledges and stuff like that, and these ramps. It's so much fun, but everyone else, it's kind of, where's the magic? But R&D has to be the most fair domination map in my opinion, because you know it's your choice between that thermal or Lunarcom,
Lunar.
which I
And
guarantee
now
nobody
Ironworks.
wants to do. Yeah, Ironworks honestly as well.
I personally enjoy playing Lunacom in casual matches, but again, casual versus competitive. In a competitive setting, it's such a pain because if C's the last point on Lunarcom, it's basically whoever gets the team wipe first wins, or
Of
like
course.
90% of the time.
Like knowing all the domination maps right now, R&D and Ironworks are currently like the most decent ones. Thermal also isn't bad either, but it's just a little bit of a different map to play. The pacing feels a little bit slower on that map compared to some of the other maps, in my opinion, of course.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
I-
is
I
a little bit.
personally always feel claustrophobic on Thermal. I don't know what it is about it, really. It just always feels claustrophobic.
Whole lot of ceilings. Whole lot of ceilings.
I can't fly through the buildings. I have to go through the door and then fly up. What is this?
Yeah, trickery. So, do we have everything set up for the lobbies and all that stuff?
So it looks like, yeah,
Okay.
taking from Prod and looking at the lobby here, it looks like ExWar is indeed missing a player. I do not remember the rules off the top of my head regarding not having your full team show up, and if it's played out or if it's just an instant DQ after a certain point in time.
I think it was 15 minutes was what we agreed upon. Correct? I could be wrong. Okay. I mean, I can go talk to him again. Let me just dip out. Okay.
Looks like with all 6 players here now, we should begin shortly. Hopefully.
Oh, they're not in there?
Wait, what?
Hold on. Oh, ExWar.
That's export.
We're listing off ExWar.
Yes.
Yeah. We do have, it's like everyone on the current roster for Globos as well.
I should be online. Okay. I believe ExWar did?
Yes, ExWar won Lunarcom.
Yeah.
So if ExWar wins on R&D, we will have a short match for tonight.
Okay, so it wasn't this wasn't in favor of just remaking the entire set altogether? You guys just wanted to play from where the ball fell, I'm assuming?
Don't quote me on this. You should ask them. I believe they were the agreement was to just restart R&D. Lunarcom has already been decided. So
Okay.
ExWar should be up a point.
Well, if both teams have agreed to it, then, I guess this is what we're here for. A little bit of a short cast, like you said today, but, hey, nothing against that whatsoever. It could still be a very entertaining match to watch right now.
Oh, yeah.
I believe these teams have a decent fight in them to spectate, honestly.
And if I remember correctly, both Thermalcom was a close match too. So I'm expecting it to be fairly close tonight.
We're just now waiting to confirm with a couple players that we are ready to start.
Ready to go. All right. Yippee! So, with the way, well, I guess I'm casting with 2 players in the league right now, so this is a little bit of a. It's interesting because I have this bit of an insight from you two right now, aside from what I've studied from these teams already in the league. What do you think the comp is going to be run, and what do you think, there may be a struggle point between either team? Like, maybe somebody holds B better, somebody holds C better. Like, what do you speculate might happen right now?
I speculate Globos is going to take R&D. So Taurus has historically had more luck, or at least better team play and team composition on R&D. Irregardless of who plays, it's a very, very interesting map for Satorus. It seems to be almost always one of their best maps. Speaking from also as being an ex-Satorus player.
Yeah,
so.
as ex-Taurus players, we are synonymous with that experience. Yeah, we have had a lot of experience, and like honestly, we know this map like the back of our hand. It's very hard to beat us on it, especially like you had to literally just skill diff us out of this map, which was no easy task. So,
But now to answer your question, I'm looking at what units are being picked up right now with L price on turn A. Globals might have the advantage on point B because the turn A butterfly is a little bit harder to do on B. It's not impossible.
Okay, so we're looking at a bit of a kind of a split opening from the Globos team. They're kind of just not grouping their team together, avoiding giving Ashmar any molly that's going to happen possible. And it's a bit of a slow fight. Only one suit has gone down for both sides right now, and they're slowly starting to fall one by one.
Yeah, there's a quick brawl up there with the Barb trying to take down the Uni, but the Uni was able to get away. Although now it looks like ExWar is getting first point.
Yeah, we're seeing a strong presence right now from the red side for point A, and they're kind of just trying to be a little bit proactive right now, looking for anywhere that the Globos is trying to set up and meet them, face first with a little bit of a strong hand to keep them at bay.
Looking at the comp side here, this side of things, it seems like Globos is going for an armor. There's a sustain meta with, we see Jim, Susan, and Dom, which on certain maps I believe could work. However, against the current roster, it seems like against ExWar just has a little bit better DPS, as they are rolling in with a double melee here, as well as with the Gundam and turn A for some sustain in there as well. So it seems like on the side of ExWar, it's a little bit more balanced. Side of Globos, it's more geared toward armor, which I haven't seen before. So it's very interesting to see that new comp geared more toward armor. As well as with a little bit of defensive hold, like especially with Jim on the side of Globos there.
Yeah, I do see what you mean here. There's like 3 suits that can output any sorts of armor at any given time. So you have the Unicorn, you have the Dom Trooper, and then you have Susan itself that can give itself armor. This is going to be a very tough nut to crack, if I'm going to be honest with you.
You do see Zombie try to go for a punch on C, but he does get caught out in the open with that punch, not really getting any big value. So we do see him up against ult on I cannot say their name right now for some reason, ExWar, but their Ash still just barely getting behind ult. We do see the Gym Mines used looking alt, so at the rest of ult eco, looks like we're up on the side of ExWar.
Yeah, ExWar is about to take it to point A. They both got about 50%. Point B or point C has just been a swap. Like they keep taking over. As we can see, Globos is about to take it back.
As we now see the Hades come out, Matt's just managed to get a point or a kill and take sight. So we see the Barbolt now come out, kill the Gym, and he manages to then retake sight just off that ult alone.
Yeah, there was nobody there that wanted to contest a Barbados ult, and honestly, I understand why. And so that is literally just free point.
Yeah, if we look at the ult combos going into point B, we have 4 ults on the side of ExWar. with Ashmar at 60%, and Arbalest is actually using his Uni roll right now. They're just trying to force him to beat, looks like.
On the side of Globos, they do see that that right side is full of low units on the side of ExWar. They do try to punch it and retake, successfully getting out the Barb, the Uni Impale. So they now managed to successfully take site here, and of course we see the Susan ult get popped for it. It also looked like Uni ult did get popped as well as Hades, so a little bit of ults there to take site, but they still do have Ashe and Jim to play a little bit defensively here. And Ashe ult did get used against a melee, but he absorbed it.
He ate the
perfectly.
punch. Said, "Is that all you got, buddy?"
Yeah, that's one lesson I've learned the hard way is never punch a Z2M. If they time it right, it'll just be wasted.
No, we have a Yariella at 1 HP here, trying to just live and maybe regroup with the team if they can. ExWar just looking to find a retake in any little, nooking cranny they can. They're looking through 2 or 3 different angles right now, just trying to find an opening or some poke that they can give their team a little bit of an advantage. But Globos just have a bit of a strong presence. They're on B point now. This is where you're going to see the armor really come into play here from Unicorn, and it's just going to be it's going to be really hard to push them off.
Yeah, no, I think that armor from Uni, Susan, and even Dom as well helped a lot for that B-hold. For both of these teams, it's been back and forth across C and B and A points. Looking on the side of ults here, it seems like on the side of ExWar, they are up in ult eco with 3 ults. Globos may come back though, knowing that everyone is around the same. We do see Jim at 80, Pale at 80. Dom is going to have ult. The Uni will also have ult here soon. Punch is fairly getting there as well.
Punch just
So it
got
seems
used
like
to
it's
pump himself.
fairly even here. Globos now also securing sight. Zombie just 1 HP. Have to back up and hide.
Yeah, no, the one thing Globos does have to worry about is L Price has had that turn A ult for since the beginning of B now, and sees really good points to use it, so I'm expecting it to get popped soon. But there it goes.
There it goes, and a direct shot from the Uni goes down to the Unicorn ult now. Very good use of that Uni ult. Being able to take down the turn A from range.
Now we're kind of just seeing the Pale Rider doing as much as they can in Hades form, just taking suits out 1 by 1, but kind of getting focused, like trying to do damage at the same time, but just trying to live. And we see him eventually go down. And now the ults are coming out left and right. We're gonna see Dom Trooper with the ult, Z2M answering with his own spin to win. And there's a lot of suits that are looking kind of low right now.
Yeah, and as you can see, ExWar is taking a point back, so this game's not over yet. And L Price has actually switched over to Dom, which makes sense because turn A has such a long time. It takes a long time to get Butterfly.
So do you see the Ash Punch come out? Unfortunately, it did not manage to land on its target. Big fat whiff by the side of Let Me Touch Ya. But we'll get there eventually. You now see though, Globos is still holding this point very well. Very good molly by the Ashe as well. So he managed to hold it. Jim Carrey not quite making it in time, but so Globos, aka the Satoris, taking that first round off on R&D. You know what? Those teams were both fairly even, but looking at least with the first 2 points there, I was honestly fairly certain that ExWar would end up turning it around and taking out the first round, but maybe I'm just gaslighting myself. Maybe I'm gatekeeping myself from the Satoris dub.
You were entirely in the wrong to assume that. We're seeing a lot of these players from Globos kind of swapping suits. I haven't really seen them play in this league. Like Touch, usually we see him as a Hyperion player. They're now flexing Ashamar. And the Ashamar on Globos' team, Arbalest, is now playing the Unicorn. So maybe they were just having a bit of a, like, fitting back into a different suit kind of a problem. But now that they're kind of getting more comfortable with it, we're starting to see a little bit more cohesion and that team glue that we're used to seeing. The one thing though, I asking both Ashe players, please find your marks. You're hitting stance targets. The punches just, we're not seeing enough connection here. I need to see more jawlines broken, please.
We aren't seeing enough of great punches. We aren't seeing enough little beatdowns tonight.
Yeah.
That being said, on the side of both teams, we've seen some very good ults from Unicorn. We've seen some decent ults off both of Hales as well. And both teams, again, just making enough presence with either the Susan or the melee.
We just saw Soccer right there actually zone off 2 players are running right through him, leave him half health. He didn't get the kill, but he did push him out, which is kind of, you know, the end game. You just want him off the point of a domination map. Just kill their time, you know. Most of the times you will get the kill, most of the times you just have to let it be and just focus on the main objective, which is the point. Kyowo looking to hit this Eno with a Hyper Hammer, and that's a clean connection. And they're gonna
now going around for the flank, does manage to get the Pale and the Uni stunned, forcing them back off. It's just Jim Carrey in there by himself, but he gets Rage. Does forces him to make a little bit of space here, though it is going to have to force the entirety of Globos here to regroup. Very smart there to use the Rage and a combination of the aggression from the Barb to force a bunch of space. Susan does try to go for a dive here, but doesn't really find anything. We see the Barb again jump in, and Jim Carrey with him pops Rage, does get a finish, but trades out with the Susan.
Yeah,
trying to keep them push back into the ramp so that they don't. That's the point. But now,
And Keku getting another pick off of the Unicorn.
Yeah, so the problem we're seeing right here, right now, is that the double melee is really seeing the maximum effectiveness that it is getting used to. It's a close quarters combat in B, and that gives melee all the closure it needs to close down the game. And Jim Carrey actually just picking out Dom Trooper right there out in the open altogether.
Very good early pick.
Yeah, this is looking a little scary for Globos right now. They need to regroup and reconsider their options. They just picked off Zombie right there, so now it's a 5v5.
Yeah, it's not quite as much as the first round just yet, with ExWar ahead, taking almost the entire B point. But both teams are setting up on C point, and ExWar took A point already.
We did see a small skirmish go on hill with now the side of ExWar regrouping on A. We do see a punch connect on the Soccer, confirming the Susan. So it seems like that is now the enemy melee out of the fight. Same thing with Eno, no longer on Jim. Woe goes down next immediately. Kachu is now going down. It seems like ExWar on the side is having a very strong hold on this A point, but they didn't manage to cap it quite quickly there. Of course, still managed to get almost 4% just off of that point, just by existing somehow.
Yeah. And there we see D2M. There we saw D2M doing what it does best, rezzing people. Jim Carrey getting 2 good rezzes off.
Yeah, as of right now, I can see, honestly, D2M is being a bit of a menace right here, just constantly just showing his presence, showing his face down Globos' throat. We saw him on the off angle on on C side earlier, just trying to hold back 3 players, and he's doing that job very well, just creating a lot of space for their teams, as melee players should be doing. We're going to see a Dom roll come out right
come
now.
out with all the armor. We also now see the Pale and the Unicorn come out. 3 ults off the side of Globos. 2 now full clear. Keep in mind that was 3, almost 4 ults now being used on the side. We did see Punch also get used earlier. Clicking on the side of ExWar though, we will see Barb melee turn A, Gundam soon as well if they just get a couple of headshots.
Now I expect that Butterflies can be held for a bit until at least they get the points, so they can actually confirm the round. But I expect those melee ults to come out fairly soon.
Yeah, I think, you know, they made the right choice here, trying to take this point early so that they have an easier time holding it, as opposed to trying to retake through 2 melee players, which could have been super hard.
Yeah, I think they learned from the earlier in the round where they couldn't even come close to retaking B.
We're seeing just a little bit of a little poke fest, you know, Kiwo trying to finish off the body that he downed, and leaving Globos just in a 5v6 right now, it seems. And ExWar just looking for any opportunity they can, but I think they're just going to opt to hold the high ground and just have that probably advantage.
Yeah, that's what they're doing, because they haven't burnt their melee.
And take a look at the ult
and they actually
eco.
have 6 now, wow.
Yeah, ult eco, 6 ults already. They are entirely fine here if they need to use some ults. We do see Soccer popping his Susan Trans Am ult. Does manage to find a pick off of Yarely, and then just barely managed to get out of the way of the grab of the turn A. Very impressive here. Getting 2 picks in Trans Am. Managing to hold off of height, but you don't really have anyone with you. And now Susan, you want to have at least one person with you to kind of be your leash, to be your support, because Susan, you need to rely on being a little bit suicidal to get some of your entry picks, but you need that follow-up. Without having that follow-up, you aren't very strong of a unit, unfortunately. Now it looks like that point's now going to the side of ExWar for a little bit. They still have plenty of ult to play around with. We do see the turn A. We do see the Barb. Barb does now get popped. We do see Yeri's Hades also come out as well, as we now see them retaking. Even if Sotoris does manage to retake here, they can still pop out the turn A and punch. Turn A now comes out. We might see the punch here just come out, just being used emergency-wise.
Yeah, I was expecting
Yeri gets to with Hades.
Right at the end. Yeah, that was unfortunate for Globos, because going into that last point, Globos only had like one cheat maneuver with the mines, and ExWar just had the entire team with cheat maneuvers.
Not to
I
mention,
think they still had 2 at the end.
yeah, not to mention ExWar did a really great job of cascading their ult, so there was a consistent force of this overbearing presence being met, that Globus has to face. And honestly, it just ended up proving too much for the end of that round. Globus needs to find out, what they can take from this round and, how to work around it. Maybe, focus the Z2M a little more, or even play to avoid him as much as possible. But something needs to be done if they want to clutch out this round. Otherwise, tonight's going to be an early end to the match.
Right.
I think if you're Globos... Oh, go ahead, Xander.
I was just going to say, the double melee definitely showed just how strong and annoying they can be on that round.
I think, if you're Globos in that position, I think you have to leave B side early to at least secure a little bit of verticality over A to hopefully try and stop the Barb or the turn A, or even the Ashe as well from gaining any sort of advantage over your team. As those are some spots that tend to favor those units. And even so, using a lot of their ult economy, or what was left of it, on B, with having maybe only 2 ults for A, just didn't really fare well for them.
Now we just see B point being the first point again this round. So let's see if Globus can actually take the first B point this time.
It looks like they are. This red is starting to fall one by one, but Keku's just holding in the fight. We're gonna go down finally. They're trying to res maybe Soccer right here, or just hold Yariella out of this choke. And so, we're going to see ExWar kind of staggered a little bit, and they just have to, find their bearings and regroup right now.
Those look like zombies trying to reposition right now. And, they don't even see him.
Still holding in us very strong. I think with the B site starting, it might put them at advantage for the next point in terms of ult eco. We do see Eno already at 75, the Arbalist at 65 as well. Matt's halfway to Hades, Soccer also halfway to Trans Am. On the side of ExWar, we do see the Pale's also fairly close, but that's only about it. Huo may be pushing 60 here, and Keku about to push 50, but knowing the side of Globos, they might get some decent late game ult advantage here over the only one Hades on the side of ExWar.
Yeah, it does look like they learned from the last round, at least on point B, and were able to keep the melees at bay. Now going to A. Melees are still useful, but they're just not as quite as close quarters, and it looks like they're just getting some
wow, we see almost a full team wipe there off the side of ExWar, which most likely, now that the entire team has to regroup and push back in, should give them control of A fairly easily here.
Yeah, we see such a immediately scouting.
Yeah, it's kind of a bit of a poke fest right now, but I think Globos are opting to try to take this opposite hill from El Price and Yariella, but they're going to get met with a Hades to push him back.
Azeri pushing in there very aggressively, gets caught low and unfortunately falls down into B site. Does manage to get the pick off of the gym, but with Hades now being separated out of the fight, we only leave Kyoto on point A. Fortunately, Globos is not able to capitalize off of that venture at all, and they're still fighting off of CIL.
Yeah, at the very least, if they do take C-Hill this late, they'll at least be ready for the next point. But it does look like that ExWar is going to take the entire A point now.
As we see a very beautiful punch come out there from Zombie, does manage to knock back quite a bit of the team back to that first heal. Hiku now also coming in to try and finish up. Very excellent there. And Jim Carrey also coming to clean up. Getting Rage, now backing off, just establishing a bunch of space for the team. ExWar making use of that punch and space created by the melees to take control of height here.
Yeah, we're seeing ExWar just kind of hold this high ground as much as possible. And, you know, in the advantage state, this is very bad because this turn A is probably just going to... Or the Barb is going to ult instead.
It seemed like Satoris there was just unable to call out that Barb. Again, when you are fighting against a Barb, you need to use your eyes and ears, and you need to be aware of some of the verticality that a lot of maps have. And in R&D, there is a little bit of verticality here. Barbs can still rat, and they still can't get the jump on you. And if you're trying to push up those hills, it can still hide behind a lot of the walls or rat in the tunnels. And that's something you need to be aware of.
Or the Barb will wait till you get on the hill and jump up to say hello.
Yeah, we see extended war, not extended war, the Globos kind of just active with their waiting for Dom ult.
Yeah, we do see the turn A ult come out doing a good amount of damage toward the side of Globos. We do see Soccer try to go up to kill the turn A, but that doesn't really seem to come and bear any fruit.
Yeah, it does look like they're probably just going to have to rotate the last point here.
Yeah, for as much as the high volume, you know, damage pulls that came out, I don't think there was actually too much carnage to come from either side, given the things considering. There was a Dom ult, there was a turn A ult, but, you know, maybe a couple picks here and there, like as if it was just your standard fight, not a team fight.
ExWar now goes down onto B here. We do see on the side of ExWar, they do have a massive advantage here, a little over 50%. Though the site has favored Satoris, even though they are down ults, they might be able to take it. We do see Touch It with the punch up. Arbalest should also get their punch up soon. Whereas on the side of ExWar, we do see 3 ults. Gary's Hades, Jim Carrey's Spin to Win, and Kyogo's zoning ult as well.
It looks like someone got... Oh, no, they just got taken out.
Unfortunately, no one was able to be there in time with Soccer. As Globos tries to take out the site, but was not able to take site.
That was so unfortunate. Touch had the punch and it connected on the Kyo, but he changed targets instead to fight whoever was looking at him. He needed to turn and get that person off the point ASAP, especially because he had it stunned. It was just a little bit unfortunate series of you know, not being able to target focus correctly, and this is gonna end up in the round of ExWar. And I guess that closes out the set altogether because we've mentioned before, you know, they had started the series right before the patch and, you know, just decided to go from there.
Now, like I said, this was going to be a close match as we saw it. Globos won the first round and the second 2 rounds were fairly close.
Yeah, honestly, that was a very interesting set or game to watch from a spectator's point of view because I was not sure who was going to win this altogether. There was an interesting comp coming from both teams. There was this armor comp getting met with double melee, and as we can see, you know, the clear victor in CIL League is just a double comp. It's just, or the double melee. It's very strong, and yeah, I think the big issue to come out there was that Globos needed maybe like another stun or 2. They had Soccer on the melee himself, but not having a stun on the Barb to help out the team kind of might have been a little bit of a pain there. You know, it might have hurt a little bit.
Yeah, especially on point B, they just could not, almost could not get past those 2 melee. Like, Z2M would just charge in, immediately involve, and then the Barb would just clean up.
Well, honestly, it is a pain to say, but I think that does end the winning streak that Globos has had since they started from a 0-3, I think.
Technically 0-4, but yeah. 0-3. That does end their winning streak of 8 wins. Extended warranty is now 6-5. I think that technically puts them up above for fun, but extended warranty still has 2 more matches to go, whereas for fun only needs 1 more. So it's going to be there's going to be a lot of close teams close to making it in the top 4. I believe the top 4 is the playoffs.
Yeah, as the season nears to its end, we're seeing a lot of these, you know, this final push come out from a lot of these teams, and we're seeing a lot of upsets and a lot of, you know, just surprising amount of energy to come out from both teams that are just trying to vouch for being the top 4 contenders and making it into the playoffs. And, you know, it is proving to be such an interesting watch. You know, I don't know what's going to happen at this point, you know?
Oh, yeah. I mean, the only thing we know for sure is that Wizards of Oz is definitely in first. I don't think even Globos can tie for first at this point. Although it's not impossible. What were you gonna say, Garma?
Taking a look actually at the matches for the next week series, we are looking at For Fun versus Globos, Wizards versus Pancakes, and Extended Warranty versus Skill Issue. So there could easily be a chance, especially on the side of For Fun and Globos, of For Fun securing that top 4 spot. And then obviously Extended Warranty, they could also still secure a top 4 spot against Skill Issue. So there's definitely going to be some competition here with majority of those top teams.
Oh yeah, it's definitely going to be tight, very tight at the end. Because we have 2 teams at 6 wins, 2 teams at 7, and a lot of those teams still have, or all those teams still have 1 or 2 more matches to go.
Yeah, as we can see here, it's going to be just a very close fight to the finish for the potential top 4 spot here in the playoffs. So I'm looking forward to seeing what's to happen in the future up until we actually do make it into the playoffs. Maybe we do see a surprise upset, or we see someone take the top 4 spot that we weren't initially expecting to. But again, it's all speculation from right now, and we have to wait and see what's going to happen in the meantime.
Oh yeah, I'm excited.
And it definitely has been a very fun last couple of weeks, especially due to this game closing in the last week of November on around the 29th, I believe, or is it the 28th?
I think it's the, at least in the US, I think it's the 29th. Yeah, it's a Wednesday, which is unfortunate for me because I will be there at the very end.
So this has definitely been an exciting couple of weeks as we see some fairly even teams come to fight together, some very strong teams showing off force to be reckoned with. And in our last match we just had, seeing those 2 teams compete, we've seen improvements from Extended Warranties with roster changes and Globos experimenting with comp designs. And it's very interesting to see a lot of teams now experimenting, especially with some of the changes that came out from Armor. And I think that definitely did help Globos a little bit. But it seems like both teams now, at least if they want to secure that last top 4 spot, they have work that still needs to be done, teams that need to be scrimmed, games that need to be fought and won. And I think in the end of it all, I'm genuinely looking forward to a lot of the games next week.
All the games next week. The playoffs are next Saturday, I believe, correct?
I would not know that question. It looks like we heard from Prod, it is going to be the 18th.
Yeah, so next week, or
18th.
Are there any other games this week?
Unless it's scheduled on the calendar, I'm unaware.
It sounds like there might be a game tomorrow, but if there isn't, this next week is going to be very exciting as we ride this ship to the very end.
Yeah, but I think honestly that is gonna close it off for tonight. Unless anybody has anything else to say, I think we might be done here for now. This has been One Trick Tony, accompanied by Garma and Xander tonight. Thank you guys for casting with me.
Anytime. I hope everyone enjoyed the match.
All right, and I think that's gonna do. See you later, everybody.
Take care and good night.
Escape, losing all of our faith. We can't live this way. Feel me slowly fade away. Feel me slowly fade away. As far as the wind will take me. Every day I feel time slipping, passing, skipping by all the words Every time I divide